This is war, baby. Pull over, guys, I said to Steve and Wilson as we drove through the desert back to our base camp. Right here? Steve asked. Yeah, this is fine, I responded. It's not like anyone's going to see us here. Plus, it's pitch black. Steve stopped the Humvee and turned its engine off. The vast desert was tranquil, but my heart was pounding. Stay inside and watch from here, I instructed, as I stepped out, nervous to deliver on what I had just promised. I've never performed for anyone like this before. Are you going to be okay? Steve asked. He seemed to be more comfortable with the idea than Wilson, but it was obvious that we were all a little hesitant. Of course, I answered, trying to sound confident and not overthink things as I unbuckled my belt and slid my desert camouflage utility pants down toward my tan combat boots. Not removing my pants and boots completely would allow for a quick recovery in case anyone happened to drive by and catch me. I continued undressing, removing my camouflage blouse and brown t-shirt and placing them on the ground so I wouldn't become completely covered in sand. I then positioned my butt over the strewn garments and pulled my underwear down toward my bunched-up pants and boots. As I lay on the desert floor, only covered in my bra, I began to touch myself. I hoped the movement of my hands would prevent Steve and Wilson from being able to see me entirely. I rubbed back and forth with my right hand for a few minutes. Steve then yelled a few excited hoots, making me laugh and lose focus. I rubbed again and then placed my left index finger inside of me. I tried to let myself enter a state of bliss, but I was distracted, knowing I was on display. After several minutes, Steve asked from the Humvee, "Are you close?" I disappointedly admitted that I was having a difficult time. I apologized. "Don't be sorry," Steve yelled. "This is awesome." "I'm really enjoying it too," I assured him. As I continued rubbing, frustrated but also ecstatic to reveal myself, Steve and Wilson suddenly exited the Humvee and headed towards me. "We figured you could use some help," Steve stated as he kneeled down on my left side, and Wilson followed suit by laying on my right. "Undo your bra," Steve suggested, and I unfastened and removed it. I resumed touching myself, and Steve and Wilson began stroking my breasts and stomach. As our contact intensified, Steve began kissing me passionately, occasionally allowing his tongue to slip in my mouth. I wished it was Wilson instead. Wilson was so much more attractive, and we had a longer history, but I also knew that it was such a major deal to have him this close to me in the first place, so I took what I could get. As Steve continued kissing me, Wilson began to gently bite on my nipples. Despite being in the middle of this desert shithole, I was in heaven. This certainly wasn't the heaven I had been preparing for my entire life. My church friends would be appalled if they knew what I was up to. I wasn't supposed to be doing this with anyone except my future husband, let alone two married men at the same time. I momentarily thought of the West Point Cadet Chapel congregation I sang to every Sunday, leading their praise and worship. I pictured them shaking their heads in disapproval and threatening to disown me from their Christian family. I knew they would insist on praying for my sinful soul, ordering me to get down on my knees and beg God for forgiveness. But I wanted to be down on my knees for other reasons. Plus, did I really need to ask God to forgive me? Did he care that I was horny and looking to blow off steam? I was in the middle of a war. Isn't that what warriors did during biblical times? Doesn't God relax the rules a little for his dutiful soldiers? You'll just have to wait for me to finish the book if you want to hear more. And we